thankful that all of you are joining, and thanks so much for attending these. They are valuable information.
And thank you, Heather, for being with us today. I know you don't aren't on our panel every Wednesday, so it's a treat to have you. And
Mhm.
like I said, so this is got a lot in this presentation, so I guess we can just get to it. I We'll do the introductions just briefly, and then Kim will give the presentation, and we'll do questions at the end. So if you have any questions as we go through the presentation, feel free to put them in the chat box or use the Q&A function. And I'll man the chat box. So if I'll read all the questions live at the end. So without further ado, we have Heather Marshall joining us for this evening. She's the contact center experience manager. So she's been with the credit union for 8 years now, helping our members at the call center. And she'll help me in the chat, and she'll take questions at the end too. She has a lot of experience, like hands-on experience helping members on the back end. And then our presenter, Kim Friedley, if you haven't met her yet, she's our membership engagement analyst, and she's been with us for 17 years. And of course, I'm Carrie from the marketing department. And I'll give it to you, Kim. You want to go ahead?
Thank you, Carrie. And again, welcome everybody. I just want to say that Carrie is responsible for these wonderful graphics on the PowerPoint. She is our expert content creator, and we couldn't do this without her. So big shout out to Ms. Carrie Lazar. We appreciate you. So let's get into it. Like Carrie said earlier, we have a lot to cover. Protecting elders from financial exploitation. We're going to talk to you about the financial piece of elder abuse. So I am going to, as usual, turn off my camera so that you can get the full effect of the PowerPoint. That is most important. And let's get started. Bear with me just a second. All right, so World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Did you guys know that it is this month? It is in June. And a little bit of history about this day and why it came about. It was launched on June the 15th in 2006. It was launched by the International Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse and the World Health Organization at the United Nations. Very, very important day. They have the term elder abuse. It's kind of a catch-all term because it can involve physical or emotional harm. It can be lack of adequate care, and a whole lot more than that. But like I said earlier, this evening, we're just going to focus on one specific aspect of elder abuse, and that's the financial aspect. If there are seniors in your life who you think may be vulnerable, we really hope that this webinar will help you to identify some of the risk factors and just be aware and be able to start some of those just really critical conversations. So, elder financial exploitation, elder financial abuse, often called elder financial exploitation. It's really just a form of elder abuse. Elder financial abuse, it involves illegal, improper use of an older person's funds. It could be their property. It could be any of their assets. This type of abuse can take really many, many forms, including, but not limited to, things like scams and fraud. There are deceptive schemes out there, you guys, in many forms designed to trick our seniors into giving away money, their personal information. Examples that I can think of include things like lottery scams, phishing schemes, and that's PHISH, phishing schemes, and unfortunately, fake charities. There's also unauthorized transactions, family members, caregivers, others with access to the seniors' accounts may make unauthorized transactions or withdrawals without that senior knowing, without their permission. There's also investment fraud, believe it or not, unethical brokers or financial advisors. They may convince seniors to invest in fraudulent or unsuitable financial products, things that they should never offer them because they're just not suitable for someone their age. Power of attorney abuse. Yes, there is such a thing. The misuse of authority granted through a power of attorney, a formal document allowing the abuser to steal or improperly manage the senior's assets. Of course, there's identity theft. This can be at any age, but it's especially, using the senior's personal information to open loans, to open credit accounts, to engage in other fraudulent activities. And there's coercion, there's manipulation, pressuring or manipulating the senior into making financial decisions that benefit the abuser. Like changing a will, signing over property, or even giving large monetary gifts. So here are some, we always like to give you guys statistics and real data. So here are some elder fraud statistics from 2023. And while estimates vary and many incidents, believe it or not, are not reported, it's clear that financial abuse affects literally millions of older Americans and unfortunately costs them billions of dollars every single year. And it takes many forms. It could be something like an urgent phone call from a grandchild in trouble who needs money really fast. It could be a bogus home repair firm that comes to their door and requires the money up front and then never shows up to do the work. It could be those phishing emails, investment scams, phony sweepstakes, just all kinds of things. There's fake charities out there. There's IRS impersonators, forged financial documents, outright theft of cash and even jewelry in their home. The list goes on and on. It's very troubling. The methods that criminals will use to rip off older Americans. It's disheartening. The saddest part is a vast majority of cases go unreported. This is the sad part, according to the National Adult Protective Services Association. Across our nation, elder financial abuse and exploitation is a hidden crisis that robs seniors of their right to age with dignity, security, and respect. In the US, 1 in 10 individuals over 60 has faced some form of elder abuse, with many incidents going unreported. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center saw a 14% increase in elder fraud complaints in 2023, a 14% increase, with associated losses rising by about 11%, per the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center on their fraud report. According to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center 2023 Elder Fraud Report, the average victim or elder fraud lost $33,915 in 2023. Over 101,000 victims, 101,000, you guys, victims age 60 and over reported scams to the IC3 in 2023, compared to about 18,000 victims under the age of 20. Many elder fraud crimes go unreported, like we've said, with only about half of the fraud scam complaints to the FBI, including victims' ages. So the most widely reported elder fraud in 2023 was tech support scams. Imagine that, tech support scams. Investment scams were the costliest. causing over 1.2 billion in losses. Other costly elder fraud types included things like business email compromise scams, confidence and, believe it or not, romance scams, government impersonation scams, and personal data breaches. Just so disheartening. So why are older adults targeted? Elder financial abuse occurs due to, there's a combination of factors. Often it involves vulnerability and opportunism. Unfortunately, our elderly population can become prime targets for financial exploitation for several reasons. So we're going to talk about some of the key reasons why this happens. Vulnerability of elders, firstly, vulnerability plays a significant role. A lot of elderly individuals, they're more trusting, they're less aware of modern financial practices. Many elders suffer from cognitive impairments such as dementia. It could even be Alzheimer's, which makes them an easy target for several reasons. And those fraudsters use it with, unfortunately, ill intentions. Their diminished capacity, the senior, to manage their finances independently, it creates really a fertile ground for financial abuse. There's also isolation. The second reason is isolation. Social isolation is a huge factor. Elders who are socially isolated may lack a support network to help them recognize and prevent abuse. Without regular contact with friends, family, community members, signs of financial exploitation can go unnoticed. This isolation makes it easier for abusers to operate without detection. And then dependency. Thirdly, dependency on caregivers or family members for assistance can create opportunities, again, for financial exploitation. Elderly people who rely on others for their daily needs may find themselves in a vulnerable position where the very people that they depend on take advantage of their trust. Their dependency can be emotional, it can be physical, it could be financial, and abusers often use this to exploit to their benefit. So sad. Financial need or greed. Another huge contributing factor is the financial need or greed of the actual perpetrators. Often those who commit elder financial abuse are, believe it or not, family members or close acquaintances. These individuals may be driven by their own financial desperation or greed, seeing their elderly relatives' assets as a quick solution to their problems. And unfortunately, this can lead to devastating consequences for the elderly involved. Higher value of elders' assets. Finally, the last one, the high value of elders' assets makes them attractive targets for financial exploitation. Many of elderly individuals have spent their lives, of course, saving their money, accumulating substantial assets. They have savings, they have investments, they have properties that they own. Those are seen as lucrative opportunities by abusers who seek to enrich themselves at the expense of that elderly person. So who are the abusers? You can see a list in front of you: caretakers, family members, neighbors, friends, acquaintances, bank employees, scammers, doctors and nurses. We pulled out just a few of the most likely, and you might be surprised to know that the most common perpetrator of financial abuse is typically family members. The NCEA reported that 53% of elder financial abuse cases were committed by family members such as their adult children or spouses. Understanding who is most likely to commit the financial abuse can really help us stay vigilant and protect our loved ones. Family members include adult children, it could be grandchildren, it could even be other relatives taking advantage of an elder's trust or even, unfortunately, their goodwill. Family members assume control of the elderly's finances without proper authorization. Caregivers, paid or unpaid caregivers, can also take advantage of elders' money or property for their own benefit. We have to be so careful who we hire to take care of our elderly loved ones. Caregivers typically isolate the elderly from their family, from their friends, and they do this to gain control over their finances. And while most cases of elder abuse are committed by, and we said earlier, friends, family, or those in routine proximity to the victims, although not all the time. And you can see some of those others in front of you on the slide in front of you. Fraudsters target seniors, with lottery or sweepstakes scams, romance scams, and home repair fraud. So the long-term consequences of elder financial abuse, it really has severe and lasting consequences that really extend far beyond the financial loss. Victims often face significant financial hardship, struggling to maintain their housing, their health care, and even basic necessities like food, their medications. Food and housing insecurity has become prevalent, believe it or not, with many seniors already on a fixed income. They become unable to afford quality food or secure living conditions. Quality care options diminish, leading to inadequate care facilities. Estates meant for heirs and charities are often depleted, and victims suffer from mental health issues such as, depression, anxiety. This abuse severely compromises their standard of living and overall well-being. So to prevent elder financial abuse, it is so important that we raise awareness, and that's why we're here tonight. You have to establish open communication with older adults. You have to educate them about the common scams, the common warning signs like we've talked about, and encourage them to seek advice from trusted family members, friends, or professionals before they make those financial decisions. Additionally, reporting any and all suspected cases of elder financial abuse to the appropriate authorities. It's really critical to protect vulnerable individuals and hold those perpetrators accountable. It is so important that they be held accountable for what they're doing. So let's talk about the common types of elderly scams. We're going to go over tech support scams, confidence, romance scams, investment scams, non-payment or non-delivery scams. Imposter scams were the most common types of elder fraud reported to the IC3 last year. So tech support scams, we're going to start with that. They were the most widely reported kind of elder fraud in 2023. Tech and customer support scammers take advantage of victims' familiarity with technology, online banking, and newer payment methods to quickly take as much money as possible. A lot of times a pop-up message or a blank screen will appear on a computer or on their phone, telling the victim their device is damaged and it needs fixing. And when they call the support number for help, it's actually the scammer. And they are gonna probably request remote access to the older person's computer and to their phone. There's a scam out there where they will take over the phone as well. Or they demand to pay a fee to have it repaired. Again, it's a scam. They're not going to repair anything. you receive an alert saying there is a virus on your phone and that you must call a number to resolve the issue. A lot of times, whenever you get a new laptop, I bought my husband a laptop for Christmas, and the minute you power that thing up, that's the first thing you're going to get. It's going to tell you that you have got to call this number because you need to purchase this antivirus, and it is 100% a scam. But it comes up like with red lights and rare. It's very alarming, and it makes you think that it's real, and it isn't. So just remember that when you go to buy a new desktop or laptop or even a phone. A scammer says that the only solution to save someone's money from the hacker, and actually they're the hacker, is to transfer their account funds to them while they get rid of the supposed virus to protect that person's money. That is always, always, always a scam. Just try to, like we said earlier, be educated in what these scams look like, and talk about it with anyone who, even if it's a friend, even if it's a colleague, someone that you know that could potentially fall victim. You know, if you say to that fraudster that you'd prefer to fix the issue by going to a physical store or calling a company yourself, the caller attempts to convince you that the virus is time sensitive and only they can help you. Again, that's a huge red flag. It should never be that way. So prevent and respond. If you receive an alert saying your phone or computer has a virus, never ever call the number provided in the alert. Instead, go to the company website of the device on which you received the alert, whether it's Apple, whether it's Microsoft, and call their official tech support number. If a person calls you saying your device has been hacked or compromised by a virus, take down the number, hang up from them, and block the number. Never provide personal or financial information to an unexpected caller. They should never ask you for that information. Do not give remote access to your laptop, to your desktop, to your phone. Never give anyone remote access to a device, unless you contacted the company first and you know it to be legitimate. Report all suspicious calls or messages to the Federal Trade Commission. It's so important. To the FBI, the elderly abuse portion, or even to your local law enforcement. Honestly, I think you should do all three. So let's talk about confidence and romance scams. Another very common form of elder fraud involves confidence romance scams. Elderly people can be duped into new romantic or platonic relationships by unscrupulous people seeking to literally steal their money. In 2023, these scams resulted in over $357 million in losses to adults over 60 years of age. Seniors who live alone, especially those who frequent social media, are particularly vulnerable. They're lonely. They may place excessive trust in their new virtual friends, companions, despite having no in-person connection whatsoever. And this vulnerability often stems from, like I just said, loneliness, as some seniors' primary contact with the outside world is through their home caregiver. Internet access has further fueled senior financial fraud. Seniors who aren't, tech savvy with emails can fall prey to those notifications of overseas lottery wins, unexpected inheritances from abroad, or even ransom requests where they allegedly say they kidnapped younger relatives studying abroad. So again, these are just all common scams that if we know they're out there, it's going to help us. It's going to help our elderly to recognize them and to completely stop whatever it is they're wanting them to do. Rapidly formed relationships, we've got all this social media, new online friends, romantic interests who quickly express strong emotions. Requests for money, sudden requests for money to cover emergencies, travel, medical expenses. We hear about it all the time. Secrecy. The scammer always is going to insist on keeping the relationship and the financial transactions completely secret. And inconsistent stories that don't add up or seem too elaborate. Unverifiable information, refusal from the hacker to provide verifiable information or to meet in person. They'll never do that. Again, you should always report these scams to local law enforcement, the Federal Trade Commission, and the Internet Crime Complaint Center, part of the FBI. There are also investment scams. Investment scams, like we said, were the costliest kind of elder fraud in 2023. These scams cost senior victims more than $1.2 billion in losses last year. Because many seniors, they're actually planning for retirement and managing their savings. They know they're going to be on a fixed income. Numerous investment schemes will target them at that time, aiming to safeguard, saying that they're going to safeguard their cash for their later years. And that's exactly what seniors, want to do. They want to make sure that they still have that capability of maintaining their lifestyle. These can be pyramid schemes like Bernie Madoff's, which included many senior citizens among its victims, to tales of a Nigerian prince seeking a partner to claim inheritance money, to complex financial products that even some economists struggle to understand. Investment scams have been a successful way to exploit older people. These scams often involve the illegal or alleged sale of financial instruments that promise low risk and guaranteed returns. Think about elderly people when CD rates go up and they have a lot of money sitting in their savings in their money market. The first thing they want to do is earn a higher rate of return because they can potentially live off that interest. So if someone is calling them saying, hey, you give me all your money, I'll give you 18% interest, and no interest rates are that high, they're going to be tempted because it's going to give them more money and their cost of living. It will help with that. There's also cryptocurrency. It's also commonly used in these scams, with cryptocurrency investment fraud losses rising from $907 million in 2021, get this, to $2.57 billion in 2022. That's a massive increase. That's an increase of 183%. So here are some red flags. Guaranteed high returns, like we just talked about. Pressure to invest quickly. Don't ever fall prey to pressure. Unregistered investments and investment opportunities that are not registered with regulatory authorities. That's a huge red flag. Complex financial products, investments that are difficult to understand or to explain. Huge red flag. And unsolicited offers, receiving unsolicited investment offers. We all get them in the mail every single day, and sometimes even by phone or email. And where to report those is the Federal Trade Commission, Internet Crime Complaint Center, Securities and Exchange Commission, and most importantly, your local law enforcement. Non-delivery scams occur when a buyer pays for a product or service, but the seller never delivers it. These scams are typically common on online shopping websites, classified ads, social media marketplaces, home repair services. And I'll give you an example. A person might hire, let's say, a contractor to perform some home repairs. Everybody needs home repairs at some point. They pay it in full or a substantial deposit up front, and the contractor never completes the work and sometimes never shows back up, and then, of course, becomes completely unresponsive. Red flags, again, are unrealistic deals, prices that seem too good to be true. And if they tell you you've won something, but you have to pay this before you get it, if you win something, you win something, guys. You don't ever have to pay somebody something when you win. Pressure to pay quickly, another huge red flag. They try to use high pressure tactics, saying that payment, they insist that on immediate payment. Unusual payment methods like a wire transfer, gift cards. If anybody ever calls and says, hey, your relative is in jail and I need gift cards from Target to bail them out. That is always going to be a scam. You would never, ever buy gift cards and give them to a legitimate organization, person, bank, ever. And you really have to watch the cryptocurrency scams. You know, the no reviews or negative feedback. Sellers or contractors with little to no transaction history or numerous negative reviews. Those are, again, huge red flags. You should report these types of scams to local law enforcement. We've already talked about that. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, Internet Crime Complaint Center, which is the part of the FBI, and the Better Business Bureau. There are government impersonation scams. You know, in government impersonation scams, also known as government imposter scams, scammers call unsuspecting older adults claiming to be representatives from a well-known government agent. They even manipulate their phone to make it look like it's a 202, which we all know is a DC area code. They use agencies like Medicare, the IRS, Social Security Administration, using special technology. They spoof, like I said, the actual phone number, and it makes it look like it's from a DC phone line. And this can trick a lot of people into thinking that the caller is calling from a valid source. Just remember, the Social Security Department administration's never going to call you anyways. They do everything by mail. I know someone who actually got that call. It was from a 202 number. They said they were the Social Security Administration. They said, in order for you to continue to get your Social Security, you have to pay these some kind of Social Security stamps. Very odd, telling this person that they were about to lose all of their income. So red flags: you receive a call, email asking to confirm information a government agency should already have. The person calling or emailing threatens your benefits, like I just said, or asks for money. You are being pressured to make a quick decision. Huge red flag. So prevent and respond. Hang up the phone. Do not reply to the email. Never give out personal information unless you know exactly who you are dealing with. Do not inherently trust a name or number. You just can't trust it anymore. There are all kinds of software out there to manipulate, to spoof emails, to create another website that looks like Amazon and it's actually not. You just can't trust it anymore. Call the number directly, wait to speak to a rep to verify the call, or email that you received. So a government agency, I just said this, will never ask you to wire money, will never ask you to provide your Social Security number or send funds by gift card. General signs that it's a scam: you know, unexpected contact. Someone claims to be from the government, a bank, a business, family member, asks for money. Upfront payments. They request money or taxes up front to receive a prize or a gift. If you win a prize or you win a gift, you shouldn't have to pay a thing. Unusual payment methods, you know, asking you to wire money, sending cryptocurrency, using a payment app, using a courier or prepaid gift card. And then access to money, you know, requesting access to ATM cards and PIN numbers and bank accounts and credit cards and cryptocurrency wallets or investment accounts. Scam. It's got scam written all over it. Pressure tactics, you know, insisting you to act right this minute. You cannot wait. You cannot call someone else. You cannot look anything up. This is time sensitive and I need you to do this right this minute. That is going to be a scam. Emotional manipulation, you know, creating a sense of urgency or emergency, or playing on your emotions. A lot of these people are lonely, and these scammers will call them and just, hey, how are you? How have you been? What's been going on in your world? And they literally will sit and talk to them for hours just to earn that trust before they'll start scamming them. And just some tips to protect yourself. You know, you have to guard your personal information. Don't share account numbers, passwords, PIN numbers, Social Security numbers. Don't carry your Social Security number in your wallet ever. No upfront payments. Never pay upfront for a promised prize ever. And you got to remember, did I even enter to win this prize? Most likely you didn't. Verify and compare. You know, take time to process everything, compare prices, ask for written information. Always be skeptical. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Avoid high pressure sales. Walk away from deals that pressure you to act quickly or pay immediately. Verify stories, confirm urgent situations with the person directly using known contact information, and always, always, always avoid suspicious links. Don't click on links in your email, on your phone, in your text messages, or scan QR codes from unknown sources. Those are all tips to protect yourself and your elderly friends, relatives, neighbors. Be aware of the warning signs of financial abuse for yourself, for those you know. Um, One of the most noticeable signs is large unexplained withdrawals from accounts. If you see significant sums of money that are being taken out with no clear reason, it's a huge red flag that needs to be immediately addressed. It really is. You're also going to want to pay close attention to changes in banking practices or unexplained charges to important legal documents like wills, power of attorneys. Such changes can indicate that someone is exerting undue influence or taking advantage of that elderly person. Another warning sign is the sudden appearance of a new best friend who offers to help with financial transactions. While new friendships are not always inherently bad, it is suspicious. It is a red flag if this person quickly becomes involved in managing finances. That's something most best friends, even if you've had them for 40 years, don't typically do. Emotional or behavioral changes related to finances are also telling. If an elderly person seems unusually anxious, if they seem confused or secretive about money, it could indicate they are being financially abused. So fear, sudden lack of hygiene, missing medical aids, or social withdrawals are also concerning signs. And these changes can signal that the person is experiencing stress or fear related to financial abuse. So you have to keep in mind that if all of a sudden that elderly person, they're different, they're the way you typically see them, all of a sudden there's a huge change. You're definitely going to want to dig a little bit deeper. Signs of neglect, such as hazardous living conditions, dehydration, a lack of food, are serious indicators. Financial abuse often goes hand in hand with physical neglect, as the abuser may be withholding funds necessary for that proper care. So recognizing these signs early can really make a significant difference in protecting our senior population. If you notice any of these indicators, it's critical to act immediately and contact the appropriate authorities or seek legal advice. So protect yourself from financial abuse. We talked about how to protect everyone else. Let's take a look at some practical steps that you can take to protect yourself from financial abuse. It's not always the elderly. These measures are simple yet highly effective in safeguarding your financial well-being. First, you want to make a habit to check your statement each month. You want to look at that statement, even if it's electronic. If you don't get it in the mail and you get it electronically, please go and look at your statements, whether it's a credit card, whether it's your bank account. Look, whether it's even your electric, your water, and the list could go on and on. Look at those statements, because even merchants make mistakes. Regularly reviewing your bank and credit card statements can really help you to quickly identify any unauthorized transactions, and they are time sensitive. So you can't decide to go back and look at your credit card statement or your checking statement with your Visa card July of 2023. It's too late. They're time sensitive. So it's really important that you look at it each month. Next, you're going to want to store and safely protect your financial information. Keep important documents and account details in a secure place, and consider using a safe for added protection at home. Shredding old documents is another crucial step. We are getting ready in July to have a shred day. If anyone is in the Alexandria, Virginia area, we're going to have a big cookout. We're going to have all kinds of things for the kids to do. And we're going to have big shred trucks so you can bring your documents and have them shredded. You know, bank statements, personal records, anything that you no longer need to prevent any identity theft. It's also important to close old or unused accounts. Unused accounts can be a target actually for fraudsters. So make sure that you close any accounts you no longer use. Never give out personal identifying information over the phone, email, internet, unless you are certain of the recipient's identity and trustworthiness. I also like to say that, you know, if you travel, even if you're at the hospital or at the library, in a hotel, it doesn't matter. If it offers you to log in, I think even like there are shopping centers, malls, I know Kohl's, you can log into their internet to get coupons. When you do that, that is 100% an unsecured Wi-Fi connection. And someone could be sitting out in the parking lot and be able to obtain all your information. So just make sure that you're very careful, very cautious when you're using an unsecure Wi-Fi. Use safe online security practices. You know, ensure that your devices have updated antivirus software. Use strong passwords. Be cautious when clicking on links or downloading attachments. Get on the do not call list. That can help reduce the number of unsolicited calls you receive. I can tell you I'm on it, and I still get so many scammers calling me. And what I do is I just block the number each time. They continue to call from other numbers, and every time they call, I just block those numbers. Eventually they stop calling. Verify any government entity that contacts you. Scammers often pose, like we said earlier, as government officials to steal your information. Always verify their credentials by contacting the agency directly using official contact information. Never rush into a financial decision. Always ask for details in writing. Always seek a second opinion. Taking your time to process what is happening, what is being asked of you, can really prevent costly mistakes. And plan ahead. Plan ahead to protect your assets, to ensure your wishes are followed. Set up legal safeguards such as trusts, wills, that can provide clear instructions for the management of your assets. And consult with a financial advisor. We actually partner with fellows. You can have a free consultation with them, and they can help you and guide you through this life stage. Build a relationship with people who handle your finances by making regular communication with your bank, financial advisor, accountant. They can help monitor any suspicious activity related to your accounts. If you call our contact center, you're going to get the same people over and over, and you're going to know their voice before they ever say your name. And the same with them. They're going to know who you are. If you can consistently call in or come in, you're going to have that relationship, and you're going to feel like you can trust the voice that you hear on the other line. You know, check references and credentials before hiring anyone. This includes caregivers, contractors, or anyone who may have access to your home. Ensure they are trustworthy and do not allow workers to have access to information about your finances. And then the slide in front of you, protect yourself from financial abuse. So we're going to switch gears and talk about what we as children, loved ones, friends, neighbors can do to protect our seniors. One of the best ways to protect your elderly parents and loved ones from financial abuse is to stay in touch. and involved in their lives. This is especially important when loved ones are experiencing problems with things like memory loss, their cognitive ability, that could make them really vulnerable to this type of abuse. And listen, truly actively listen to their concerns, watch for signs that something is wrong, and stay alert for fraudulent sweepstakes, other scams that target the elderly. Even if you are living in a different area, you can keep an eye on your loved ones. Use technology to stay connected. Things like text messages, social media, email, video calls, regularly monitoring of financial activities, and offer to help elderly loved ones monitor their bank accounts and credit reports for unusual activity. If you go to them and talk to them and say, hey, I want to do this to make sure that you age well, that you age peaceably, they're going to understand, and you're going to build that trust with them. You can also set up alerts to receive notifications about changes to their bank account, such as, if the account falls below a certain balance. You can set up automatic bill pay, direct deposit for checks, and you can even set up reminders for bills that are coming due. So, protecting your loved ones from financial abuse, protecting loved ones involves really proactive measures, education, vigilance. That's why we're doing this webinar, with this month being Elderly Financial Abuse Month. And we're going to give you some effective strategies. Stay connected. We talked about that. Regularly communicate and visit elderly family members to stay informed about their well-being and financial situation. Educate them. Really sit down and teach them about common scams and financial abuse tactics, the ones that we talked about in this webinar tonight. Encourage skepticism or unsolicited offers and requests for personal information. This webinar recording will be available to you. The PowerPoint slides will be available to you. Feel free to sit down with anyone and let them review it. Go through it with them if they were not able to be on here with you tonight. It's all about really being proactive and education. Monitor financial activity, help set up alerts for large withdrawal on unusual activity on their bank accounts. Every financial institution has an alert option, and typically there's more than 5-10 alerts that you can set up, and that will really help you to be able to make sure that no one is taking advantage, especially if you have a caregiver. Review bank and credit card statements together. Sit down with them and have them take the lead. Let them show you, let them hold the statement or pull up the statement online. Let them feel like they are still in charge. You're gonna really earn their trust by doing that. Set up safeguards by using direct deposit for their Social Security and other regular payments to reduce the risk of theft. Arrange for automatic bill pay. Legal protection. Ensure legal documents like wills, power of attorney, trusts are up to date and reflect the elder's wishes. You can consult an attorney for advice on protective measures. Trusted contacts. Encourage the elderly person to designate a trusted family member or friend as a financial monitor or co-signatory on accounts. Professional assistance. Consider hiring a reputable financial advisor or estate planner to help manage assets and prevent unauthorized access. If you do not have anyone, like I said, we partner with fellows. We partner with them because we trust them to take care of our members, and you can trust them too. Limit access. Be cautious about giving access to the elder's financial accounts or personal information to caregivers or new acquaintances. And educate yourself like you're doing tonight and spread the word. Learn about the signs of elder financial abuse and stay informed about new scams and fraud tactics. These scammers just continue to get more technology savvy. The scams just continue to really mirror what the Social Security Department, what they look like, what they sound like, what online shopping looks like, sounds like. They are very, very tech savvy. And be proactive. Proactive financial planning can help you, can help your loved ones avoid situations in which they are vulnerable. Without financial planning, unscrupulous individuals may try to take advantage of the situation to control the person's finances. You should help your loved one take the following action before the person experiences significant cognitive decline. So this has to be done before they are considered, cognitively declining. Select a trustworthy person to have power of attorney and assist with finances. It is so important. Create a monthly budget to ensure your loved ones is able to pay all bills. If your loved one is, you have power of attorney, but they are really declining quickly, that power of attorney is no good once that person passes away. So being joint on their account can help you tremendously. So if you have an account yourself, look at it, make sure you have beneficiaries. Even if you have a joint owner, make sure you have beneficiaries in case something happens to you and something happens to that joint owner. Make sure that it's easy for your beneficiaries to be able to do what you have set up for them to do. Determine how your loved ones will pay bills by using automatic payments, having a trusted person make the payment each month, create a monthly budget to ensure your loved one knows what you need to pay and that you have enough money to live comfortably. Organize and maintain records of all financial accounts and transactions. You can get all kinds of accordion organizers. You can get them at Walmart. You don't have to put labels on them. They typically have the indent, and you can just take a Sharpie and write what is in there. That will make it so much easier for you if you are helping with an elderly person, or, if when you become elderly, it'll make it a lot easier for that person to help you. So organizing and maintaining records is really, really important so that they know, and you can be proactive about your estate planning. Abusers may try to manipulate or coerce victims to name them as their heirs if there's not already ones in place. So it's really important that those documents are up to date. So if you suspect elder financial abuse, report it. To Adult Protective Services, APS, social services programs. They're in each state. They serve older adults and adults with disabilities who need help due to abuse, neglect, or exploitation. Adult Protective Services is really a common term, but this may not be the same name of the agency in your state. If there is an urgent risk of harm, to your loved one, or even to someone that you just may see that there's a risk of harm, you should call 911 right away. Otherwise, you can call the non-emergency number for your local police or sheriff's office to file a report. If the financial abuse involves a financial account, work with your loved one to contact their bank, their credit union, their credit card company, or any other financial services provided as soon as possible. And depending on the situation, the financial institution may be able to get your loved one's money back. The quicker, the better, though. You can also check whether your loved one has any insurance that might cover the loss. And be ready to provide as much information as you can, such as the date, the time, the location of any suspicious incidents. You're going to want to have all of your ducks in a row. The names of anyone involved in suspicious behavior, anyone who observed it, a description of the suspected financial abuse, and any other kinds of abuse. Your loved one's health condition, including any memory loss, cognitive issues, what medication they take, whether your loved one or someone else is in urgent danger. And even if you don't have all these details, still report the incident. The authorities who will investigate the situation, they don't expect you to know everything. So it's really, really, really important. You can report it to Adult Protective. We already talked about that. And again, you read the statistics on how most of these incidents go unreported. They are not reported. The only way we can make a difference, the only way that we can all make a difference is to report any suspicious elder abuse that we witness, that we see, whether it's our family or whether it's not. That's the only way that we will make a difference. So here's your resources and support in front of you. We are now at the end of World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. That is on, oh goodness, what day did we say that was? June the 15th. June the 15th, it started in 2006, so almost 20 years ago. So I hope that this webinar was beneficial to you guys. I hope you've asked questions. I hope you had some good takeaways. Again, you will get the PowerPoint slides. This video was recorded and will be available to you. Marketing does go through and edit. So I would say next week sometime you may see the video up and ready. Feel free to share that with anyone. I have even offered this to my church. I am actually a part of Aging in Place in our area, in the greater Augusta area in Virginia, and have presented this to them as well. So education, spreading the word, it's really important to help our elderly. So I'm gonna hand it over to Carrie and Heather. And again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Kim. We don't have too many, but I do have one question. So is there specific documentation or identification that is required to add a person to your account at USSFCU?
So I will be happy to answer that question for you, Carrie, and whomever that was. So thank you so much for that. Yes, we do ask that you complete a membership application when you are going to add a joint to your account. And you will need to have that person's identification, so driver's license, or passport is helpful to identify, as well as yourself, because we want to update any information that you may have as well. And also, I know that Kim mentioned about power of attorneys. We also do require special documentation for power of attorneys as well. So we're happy to guide you through that and get you the proper documentation so we can provide that on the account so you can assist parents, caregivers, whatever the case may be. So absolutely.
And to report suspected abuse, can you describe that process a little bit? So for our credit union, I'm sure it's different at other institutions, but ours for a little bit, like, do you call the 800 number, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we actually report that to our risk department, and then they can also assist with any concerns that you may have. But also, as Kim alluded, there are other ways for you to report that to agencies if you're concerned. But please feel free, because we do have that support here as well.
All right. And actually, well, perfect timing. It's 7 o'clock, but I do not see any other questions. But like Heather said, we're available at our 800 number, our call center. If you have any questions or anything, there's representatives who can talk you through these things or answer any questions that you have. And like uh, like Kim had mentioned, I'll send these resources out when we conclude, so you can click the links and learn more if you'd like. And then the webinar recording should be up on our website within the next couple days. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you, Kim and Heather.
Do we want to talk at all about next, what is next week?
Yes.
Um,
So for all of our webinar regular attendees, no webinar next week on the holiday, June 19th. So we'll be closed for business. So we'll be taking a little webinar break, and our next one the following Wednesday will just be on called it seamless
Seamless
summer
summer.
banking. So a lot of people have been asking about using those more information on using those remote services like RDA, remote deposit, things available in the mobile app and stuff. And so we'll be talking about that and showing how to use those things. So we hope we'll see you then.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you
lots
for
of
the
good
reminder.
webinars coming up. Rethink your spending, insights to transform financial behavior on July 3rd. If you're looking for an auto loan or a refinance on an auto, we're doing auto financing 101, making the right choice. If you have any family members, any youth who are at least 18 or older looking for a car, this would be a great webinar for them. That's on July the 10th. And then Grow with Confidence. We're going to do a small business. So if you have a small business or know someone who has a small business, we're going to have our small business experts on the panelist team. That's Wednesday, July 17th. So you can always go to our website, go to Best Life, go to workshops and webinars, and you will see all of the upcoming webinars. You can go ahead and RSVP to all of them. And then you'll get an email with the Zoom link. And then right below that is recorded webinars. So I'm pretty sure I looked and it goes all the way back to early 2023. So there may be some out there that you missed or you don't remember, and feel free to go to those. So
And
thanks,
please, if
everybody.
there's any suggestions or topics
Oh,
we
yeah.
can cover, please let us know. Reply to the emails we send or email our communications box. We'll cover it. So thank you.
And a huge thanks to Heather Marshall for being part of the panelist team tonight. We so appreciate you, Heather.
I appreciate it. Honored to join. Thank you so much for the
Thanks,
invite.
everybody. Thanks, Carrie.
Thank you all. Have a good night.